everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am showing you my July spreads and we are going to wrap up June. So this video is coming out a whole lot later than I have ever put out a reading journal video, mostly because I did not believe it was actually July until like a week into the month. Like, I just was not on top of my schedule whatsoever. It was not happening. So it is currently the 12th when I'm filming this, because I didn't actually start like planning out July until at least the 5th or 6th. I just got so far behind. Somehow this year has snuck up on me. I don't know how we're halfway through the year, but the first thing we're gonna do before we jump into July is look at June. So this spread here is basically exactly the same as you guys saw last time. The only thing is I did end up picking up the Jasmine Throne through a book box. So I did highlight it in that I own a copy. Then I have my read every day and page tracker spread. I only didn't read 4 days in June, which is pretty darn good. And I think I read a varying amount. Most of the time it looks like I did read around 100 pages, maybe almost 200. There were a few days where I was just not feeling it very much, but then I did have some days where I think both of these days I read either comics or graphic novels a little bit to boost my numbers. They are just quicker to get through, so I did read over 400 pages on those days for a total of 3,646 pages. This was my TBR. I did not get to a couple of the books I said I was going to get to, and one of them I moved into July. But otherwise, I was very happy with what I did read, especially because I completed the Clear Your Shit readathon. I did fit one book to every space here. I did end up switching one of them out for The Nature of Witches. That was not originally on my TBR for Clear Your Shit readathon, but I did finish them, and overall very happy that I did. We then also have the Read by Daylight readathon. The first prompt was to read a book outside of your comfort zone. For that I read Less by Andrew Sean Greer. The second prompt was to read a 5-star prediction. For that one I did actually switch it out a little bit. I didn't go from a book that I had said in a 5-star prediction video was a 5-star prediction. I just went for one that like everybody has been loving and I was sure I was gonna love as well, and that was Amari and the Night Brothers. And let me tell you, if you watched my wrap up, you know this already, but I did give it 5 out of 5 stars. Just absolutely loved it. And then the third prompt was to read a book about a fear or phobia, and for that one I read The Old Bay King, which is a like very short horror story. It's 15 pages. It's by Donnie Goodman, and it has crab fishermen, which is not actually like a fear that way, but the fact that you have to like go out on the open ocean in order to do crab fishing, like that's a fear for me. So yes. Then we have my haul. I only had 2 books this month, which is why I did not have a June haul go up on my channel yet. I decided to save it until July, so I have a little bit more to talk about because I only have 2 books for June. My favorite book was Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, and then here we have my favorite quotes. I have Just for the Record, Happiness is Not Bullshit from Less by Andrew Sean Greer. And then this one is also from Less by Andrew Sean Greer. It says, no one has ever been hopelessly in love with me. And then somebody replies saying, no, you always gave them hope, didn't you? I don't know, there was just something about that that got me. And then we also have You Tell the Truth and You Let Other People Make Their Own Choices and You Live with the Consequences from Prime Deceptions by Valerie Valdez. We also have A Land Which Does Not Remember Its History Can Never Learn the Lessons of Its Past from Del Toro Shadowlands by Emily Rhoda. And then we have 2 quotes here from the same book. The first one is, there are as many kinds of love as there are stars in the sky. And then the second quote is, you have to believe you're worthy of the life you want. If you don't, who else will? From The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. And then we have my books read. So I actually really enjoyed a lot of the books that I read, and 3 whole pages of books here. So I will link my wrap up down below in case you did want to see more in-depth thoughts on these. And then I have my stats. Again, I go over my stats in every single wrap up video, but for the age category of books I read in June, I read 8 adult books, 3 young adult, and 2 middle grade. For the format, I read 2 ARCs, 3 ebooks, and 8 physical books. And for the star ratings, I had 1 DNF, 2 3 stars, 2 3.5 stars, 5 4 stars, 2 4.5 stars, and 1 5-star read. Moving into July, this I feel like looks a bit busy, but partially it's because the theme that I went for is like a fantasy book related type of theme. So I actually used 3 different packs from Sticky Club. I used Once Upon a Time, which is a pack that we got sometime last year. I used Story Time, which I think is a pack that we got within the last month or 2. And I used Merry Unbirthday, which is another pack that we got sometime last year, which is, that one's specifically an Alice in Wonderland pack. And one of the sticker sheets that we got in those packs, which actually I think was the Storytime pack, the most recent one that we got, were these date stickers. So we have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 31, which I just could not avoid putting on here. Like, if I'm gonna be doing a Storytime book fantasy related theme, I'm obviously gonna use those stickers. The only thing is usually I just write the number in, and so I feel like they do make it look a little bit busier. I'm not mad about it though, because I could not stop putting stickers everywhere. Like, I just absolutely loved what I was doing. But this is our July theme, Storytime, fantasy books, yes. So we do have the new releases over here on the side. There's not as many that I'm excited for in July, but I do already have some that I've either pre-ordered or I have some arcs that I need to get to. I do have a little Cancer zodiac girl down here because obviously the end of June moving into most of July, we do have Cancer as our zodiac sign. And then we have a ton of birthdays in July. This is like the month of the most birthdays in my family. So I have my niece's birthday, my husband's birthday, my nephew's birthday, my brother-in-law's birthday, and one of my best friend's birthdays. So tons of birthdays. My son actually was also supposed to be born July 31st. He would have been here, but he was a day late, so he'll be August 1st. Then we have my Read Every Day and page tracker spread. So yes, I do realize I said I didn't start doing this until like the 5th or 6th. So I should have stuff written on here. I've read, I think, every day except for one so far in July, but I wanted to do at least the bare minimum to get this video up, so I don't have that stuff filled in yet. And then my color scheme, I didn't even talk about my color scheme from the other page, but what I did, because I wanted to have like 4 colors. I've actually really been loving the sort of 4 palette color tone scheme thing that I've been doing lately for the stuff in my journal, where it's not like monotone. It's different colors and they sort of fit together. So I actually went on Google and I Googled fantasy colors, and what popped up the most were purples with a little bit of like peachy, orangey coral, and a little bit of like a bright green. And so I was like, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. So what I do have down here are physical books will be orange, ebooks will be a darkish blue purple, arcs will be like a lilac, and audio will be green. I don't usually do audio, but I've actually already started an audiobook this month, so we'll have at least one green stuff on these days. Then we have my TBR. You can see the color scheme a little bit better here, as well as like in the calendar. I have so many books to read. So basically everything on this side is for a readathon that we will talk about in just a second when I turn the page. Everything else over here are the extra books that I added on. So like The Last Witch, I've actually already read these. They're comic issues, but it was for the Buzzwordathon because we need to read a book with the word last in the title, and I had basically none except for some comics. So I did put that over there. I also have my TBR pick that I talked about in my TBR video, and I have some arcs that are for this month and next month that I'm hoping I can get to. We shall see, because this is a lot of books. Moving into the readathon stuff. So the one that I wanted to talk about especially and make sure I had a good page for it is the Indie Accords readathon. This is a readathon going all through the month of July, and so obviously we've started this already. I've already read like 4 books or something for this readathon. It's all about indie books, indie authors, self-published stuff, and so that's what this page is over here, was the TBR I picked out for the Indie Accords. And I just wanted this page to have a sort of like old school fantasy feel almost. So the color scheme I pulled off of the graphic that we have for the readathon. It is sort of like browns and beiges and grays, but I really just loved this. This paper I got as a pack with some stars and space type of stuff from Michaels, and then the stickers came from the Once Upon a Time pack. So yeah, I definitely wanted to do this. This page is reserved for Read by Daylight. I don't know exactly what's going on with that this month in July. I know Bear had started to put up Read by Daylight stuff at the very beginning of July, and something happened because one of the updates was that Twitter either took the prompts away or they just didn't load right or whatever it was, and that they were going to refix them and put them back up. And that hasn't happened yet. So I do still love Read by Daylight. I am hoping that we get those prompts soon because I left a whole page blank for it. I think we even learned like who the person was, but we don't have any lore. So I don't want to like specify what type of like monster or horror type of person it is supposed to be. But I am looking forward to putting that in once we get those prompts. Then I have my haul and favorite book area. I'm trying to keep the haul areas sort of small this year, although I know that hasn't always happened in the last few months because I'm trying not to buy as much. So I do feel like this should fit everything that will be hauled this month. Favorite book will go over here, and this is where we have our favorite quotes area. So this sheet actually did come from the Storytime pack. This one is just mine that I bought at H Mart. This one came from the Twisted Nature pack, but I thought it fit very, very well for a like fantasy type theme. This one came from, I think, the After pack. I could be mistaken on that, but I've used this page before. I just really like it. And then I forgot to mention this one came from the Merry Unbirthday pack. So lots of good notepad stuff. And then we have the books read spread. And as you can see, I haven't written any notes in there yet, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books in here. Not all of them are finished. Some of them I'm reading, you know, simultaneously. And so, yeah, that's how you can tell we're partway through the month already. I have so much going on, but we're doing our same color scheme: orange, dark purpley blue, purple, green, and the color for the star ratings will be the color that's below it. So over here on orange, we have the dark purple blue. On the dark purple blue, we have purple, we have green, we have orange, etc. So yeah, and this journal maybe has 1 more month left in it, and then I'm definitely gonna have to get a new one. But this is what it's looking like. I really like the theme because obviously I love stories, I love books, and that's sort of what I decided to do. Fantasy, story, book related. And so yeah, what did you guys think of July? Do you like this color scheme? I actually had to ask my husband if he thought it was a good color scheme, although I had basically done the entire book in it already. But it's not something that I necessarily would have picked out myself until I Googled fantasy colors, because to me green and orange don't always go with purple, but like somehow I do think it works. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I do have videos up Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye!